It's been a while since we had an NXT review show here on the Unpopular Review Network. There's so much that happened at NXT Revenge. We had an NXT Championship match. We had a few NXT Championship matches. We had the NXT Championship match. We had the NXT Women's Championship on the line. Main event. Once again, main event Jane. I'm throwing it out there. I see you guys in the chat. One individual who's very rude. We'll get to you in a minute. We had singles matches, and we're going to talk about it all. This is Unpopular Review. Do us a favor, hit that like, subscribe, and notification button. It helps and does wonders. Let's take down this lovely, lovely graphic. I am one of your hosts. I identify as the Great Grand Slam Poobah, and I'm joined with the sensational Sabrina Estella. Sabrina Estella, it's been a while. I know you guys missed us, but we are here. We took a little sabbatical, but we're here. Sabrina Estella, tell the lovely people watching, how the heck are you?
I am doing just fine. Life's kept me a little busy, but I did see Stand and Deliver, and the WrestleMania build-up people could take some notes because that show was amazing. And
It
I
was.
know you were not happy about what had happened, unfortunately, but we do have the very first Cuban American woman champion in WWE history, so history has been made for that as well.
Sabrina Estella, first off, I miss working
And I
with you.
might have and I might have won the UPR polls for the championship, but
I want to say, miss working with you, but we're already off on the wrong foot. How dare you bring up such a travesty that happened? The show started off with a travesty. I had tears in my eyes seeing one Jacy Jayne. I'm wearing a Jacy Jayne shirt. It's an old school shirt. I gotta get the new one. Um, you know,
I mean, I don't have a Lola, but I had to rep for
it's
my
a nice shirt.
people.
It's a really good shirt, though. Very, very good. That's taste right there. You know, I got George in the chat. I see you in there, George. You know, George wrote me immediately when JC lost and sent a picture of the new NXT Women's Champion Lola Vice. Congratulations to her. If I had the video, I would have the video. I don't know if you ever saw the one where Tyrese is just crying, and he says, "Congratulations." That was me. But George sent me a picture of her and was very thrilled about my pain and suffering. So thanks a lot for that, George. I mean, I feel like I've given you nothing but I think I've been nothing but I've given great information. I think
You've
I've
been
been entertaining.
informative.
Thank you. It's been a minute here, guys, so bear with me here. But very informative, and this is the thanks I get. Good job. This is when I know I'm not appreciated here. So thank you, George. And this is how people take their ball and go home. But there was a lot of good things happening on NXT. We're gonna get into the chat in a minute. But what do you think about NXT tonight? NXT Revenge.
Well, NXT was a hell of a show. I mean, we started with women fighting and we ended with women fighting, so that made it fun. It was a solid show all around, can't complain. Although I might, depending on what we talk about, so we'll see.
We shall see. But before we talk about some NXT, let's get into the chat. We see you guys in the chat. We appreciate you guys joining us on a Tuesday night. This was week 1 of NXT Revenge. Next week, NXT Revenge 2, I guess. Week
It'll
2 of Revenge.
be it'll be revenge after WrestleMania.
There you go. It's funny because when I heard revenge, I thought about, so just to show my age, when I was a child, I had an N64 and I think about WCW NWO Revenge. And I was brought up, it brought up my attention like, hey, this kind of gives the vibe of WrestleMania Backlash. You know, Backlash would go on right after Mania, and a lot of feuds that wasn't finished, they'll tie it up right there. So I thought it was a fun show. NXT is, I mean, maybe I'm biased because we review it, but NXT is my favorite wrestling show of the week. So I look forward to talking to you about it and you guys in the chat. We got Mad Dog. He's there. He said, "Hey guys, what's going on, Mad Dog?" We got George just off rip through Jacy Jayne lost her match and he's laughing. How many matches have you won, George? I'll wait. No, I don't have time because you have not won a match. Wait, does that mean she can't challenge for the belt? I think she's done going for the championship, honestly. There's something I want to talk about before we even talk about NXT proper. But
Is it the rumor that she, amongst others in NXT, is now
yeah,
getting called
you
up,
Matt.
like her, Ethan Page, Sil
Hmm.
Ruka,
Hmm.
and a few others?
Yeah, yeah, and honestly, it kind of felt like a. So I don't want to jump the gun here. So one of them you mentioned was Blake Monroe. She's going to be having a casket match next week with um Tatum, and to me, I'm like, oh, that's a write off. Even for tonight in the main event, I think Jane is going to stay for a little bit because I think there's still a little bit, but I do believe she's going to be called up before the year is up. I don't know if it's right after WrestleMania, but some of it just seemed like a write off, and it was nice to see that crowd. That crowd, like they like Lola. I'm not saying they did not like Lola. You heard them cheering for Lola, but you heard a mix of "Let's go Lola," "Let's go Jacy," and I actually like that. I was like, it was nice to see that. And part of me thought, hey, maybe this is the write off here, but we'll talk about it all here. But let's get into some of these chats we got here. We said, better know she's done. She might be called up to the main roster. We got. I heard that too. Welcome back, guys. It's been a few weeks. Yeah, it's been a few weeks, but we're here. We're here. We're glad that you're here, Mad Dog. So Mad Dog, I didn't yell at you in the chat. I don't you know we cool. NXT was good, especially NXT Stand and Deliver, where Lola won it. But there was other things going, but I know that was
But
just a
they
thing.
listen now. I was chatting with a friend and he was asking me like, "Oh, what match are you looking forward to?" I was like, that one."
That
And
one.
they showed why the women's division is one of the best in NXT and one of the best
Hmm.
in professional wrestling on TV right now. Yes, Dad, we were on a sabbatical. That's what happened. We were
We
on
were
a little
on a
sabbatical.
sabbatical. We were on a sabbatical. I like that though. But for just for entertainment values, yeah, we were on tour. How do you guys feel about Tony finally getting the recognition he deserved? He's cool. I mean, I'm not like the craziest Tony D'Angelo fan, but good for him. I mean, you think about when NXT 2.0 started, and he was in there in that War Games match. It was Mello, Braun, Grayson, and him, and he's the one who could say he's a Grand Slam champion. So good for him. Yeah, good. And you have any thoughts? I've been going so long. Jeffrey retired from YouTube.
No,
No,
but
Jeffrey's
congrats
around.
to him for that.
Jeffrey's around. JC and Soruka, even possibly Blake being called, and Soruka seemed like a write off too because I'm glad that you mentioned her name because she's having a last woman standing match with Zarya. Now, if she beat Zarya, I just think that would be hilarious. But I just see that as her. I just see that being it for her personally, and I see her losing next week. That's my prediction there. Do you guys think Ethan will get called up? Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, 100%.
What else could he do down there?
There's
What
nothing.
else could Ethan do down there? He's already won the NXT Championship. He's already been the North American champion. He doesn't team with anybody to be a tag champion. And we're not counting Ricky because that was just a alliance of convenience to try to win any title. But they're
I
not
like
going
how you
for the
put that.
tag belts, so
I like how you put that. Just like they were just teaming up just to take out somebody. But I mean, you asked that, and if there was a reason for him to stay, him and Ricky would be a fun tag team, nonetheless. They're not an actual tag team, but if there was a tag team for a bit down there, which I don't see being a thing, I would be entertained by it because they together, the two of them are entertaining. And he mentioned, I'm sorry, George. He mentioned Joe Hendry. Yeah. Oh, you gotta do that. Yeah, you gotta add the clap. Does Ricky go with? No, I think they split up.
he doesn't need to go with Ethan. They're not even a team. They're not even in a faction. They're not even in nothing. It's
No.
just an alliance of convenience to try to get somebody down so one of them could have won the belt, but obviously that failed because look who's our current NXT champion.
Talking about Tony. So let's get into it. Let's talk about it. The women ended the show, but the women opened the show. We had Jada Parker and Kalani Jordan. So please take the floor, madam.
So we started with the never-ending feud that is Miss Main Event Jay Uso, Miss Parker. If y'all are nasty, I know some of y'all in the chats are thirsty as hell for her. Versus the one of a kind, soon to be Miss Mello and Kelani Jordan. And they've been working together. They've had really good chemistry, so you can tell the match was fantastic. And we all knew that it was only a matter of time before Kelani or somebody was going to take the damn padding off of the turnbuckle and use that to slow down Miss Parker and have her hypnotic spell be broken, so to speak. And she gets that one of a kind moonsault and boom, Kelani wins.
I thought it was solid. The women they do have good chemistry. It seemed like this was the spot where Kalani would get her win back. I want to say it was at that MSG show that they fought at, and Jaida got the win, and now Kalani's getting the win. So they're gonna have one more match, and that's gonna be it. So it was fine. I'm not gonna say 5 stars at the Tokyo Dome, but it was a good match. I think, and also too with Jada. I think especially with Jada, as I watch her, you can see her getting better because Kalani's pretty good in the ring. I always felt like her biggest weakness was character, and she's been showing a lot more character lately. But I look at Jada and I see her growth, and I'm very proud of her growth. I think that she's very, very talented. I think she could stay in NXT a little bit longer with the potential of a lot of people being called up. I could see her moving up the ladder a little bit and maybe being women's North American champion at some point. Because I feel like if you was, and I feel like I said it a few times, I feel like if there was a belt to start her off with, I would start her off with that championship. So good match. It was a good open. I felt like the crowd was into it as well. I thought her selling was pretty solid too. There was a thing where she was working the knee. She was, working the knee, and she does the but she sold it. And I was like, oh, okay. She's trying to get some of the psychology in the ring. So it was good. It was fun.
Anyways, we get some footage of earlier today with Shiloh Hill going over a list of tools in the locker room. Ricky comes in and asks what's he up to this time, if he's building a time machine or something along those lines. And Shiloh says, of course he's not building no time machine. And Ethan Page comes in and he and Ricky talk about what went wrong in the four-way match at Stand and Deliver. And Ethan says, I'm gonna offer you an olive branch one more time so we can stand tall. And if you help me win my title match tonight, then you'll get the first title shot. And Ricky apologizes, and then they hug.
Oh, and some
Temporary
like
friendships are so sweet.
I know it's just so full house-ish stuff like that. Um, this was fine. I thought they were pretty hilarious together, and that's why I said like if they were to stay down there for a little bit longer and they had a little bit of a run as a tag team, go for the tag team gold. And I don't even necessarily think they have to win the tag titles, but it gives to an extent. I feel like there's a lot of tag teams that we've seen here where like buddy buddy cop kind of tag team. I think about like Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin, and they end up being an entertaining duo. So I part of me, that's what made me go like, yeah, that would have been a fun tag team, but I don't see that being a thing. But this was fun. This was fun.
And after that, we get Soruka talking about the rise and the fall of her relationship with Zarya to basically talk about their upcoming match next week, which will basically, a lot of us feel is going to be Soul's right off because she might get called up to the main roster for a last woman standing match. We get Joe Hendry making his way to the ring for his concert. Did you have
Mhm.
anything to say about one Miss Soruka, or would you like us to just talk about Joe Hendry somewhere?
It was a fine promo. I think it was fine. Nothing major, but it was fine. I think the one thing that I looked at, she said, what was it, man? She said, yeah, but Zarya threw in the towel, and if I know if I did that to her, she'd be pissed. And I was like, dude, she was really saving you from yourself. You was going to be on the injured list for maybe a good year or two. So, but the promo was fine. It was cool. It was cool.
So he gets his guitar, he takes his seat, he wants to call it like it is, lost the championship, and it means he has to ask himself some difficult questions. Is it the end of the road? Should he just stop? He looks himself in the mirror, and Joe says no. And he
I should be a
starts his
shirt.
song, which is about losing the title to Tony D and whether or not he can win it back. Comes in Keanu Carver,
Ah,
and Joe says, we're not going to do all this. And I've seen you disrespect everybody in NXT, and these people were promised a Joe Hendry concert, and they going to get one.
oh, I love this.
Carver gets in the ring, jumps Joe Hendry. Hendry, Joe fights back, grabs the backup
Should have
acoustic,
done that.
and gives Keanu the El Kabong, but he shrugs it off like it's nothing. Keanu trips him. Well, Keanu gets him and busts the boy open. Joe runs to the floor and Keanu chases him and to the barricade like nada.
And Joe Henry, he had some blood on him, right? You saw some color on Joe Henry here. Um, I love this. Keanu got me sold. I am sold on this man. Um, when he came out like, no, 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 we ain't doing any of this. I was like, yeah, we're gonna look. I have nothing against Joe Henry. I've always said the one thing that he did right was get himself over. Good for him. But when he said we're not doing this, I said we ain't doing this. Then it sounds like this is not a thing that's going to happen. And you said Joe Henry fought back. That was his first mistake. He should have just left the ring, but he didn't do that, and he got his ass kicked, and rightfully so. I do want to sit here and throw out here. I do appreciate the El Kabong reference. I don't know if you guys know about Quick Draw Madraw. Yeah, I the Hanna-Barbera cartoon. See, this is why we work very well together. See, I understand. I feel bad trying to explain this to someone in their early 20s or teens, and they don't understand because they don't have good cartoons like they used to. So I appreciate that reference. I wanted to throw that out there.
Well, I mean, if they have Tubi TV now, they can because it's on there.
Oh man, like, can I sit here and say I feel like I said this before? I appreciate Tubi. They have Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry. They have some of those throwback cartoons that I feel like are just they're so good. They're just so damn good. So thank you, Tubi, for that because HBO Max had them and they got rid of that. I don't know where uh I think Me TV was it Me Too or Me TV or something? Cause I know the channel you're talking about, and I think they have like the classic like Flintstones and stuff like that. And I appreciate that because I grew up watching those kind of things. No, I didn't grow up in the 60s, dumbasses. I'm talking about when they played the reruns, I watched them. I could see someone like, was you born in the 60s? Leave me alone. But yeah, good for Joe Henry. He deserved to get his ass kicked. He should have left the ring. Me TV. There we go. Me TV is pretty cool. I haven't watched the classics, but my mom, she watches I don't know if it's still on there. What's that called? The Andy Griffin Show. And they have all those shows. So I guess then they started to have a split off with the cartoon. So I like stuff when they bring back some of the nostalgia stuff. I appreciate that. Now I gotta find out where the Powerpuff Girls and Johnny Bravo are. Those are some really good
They're
cartoons
there.
too. Well, on
They're on
Me
Tubi
TV.
as well.
Oh, Tubi. Oh, I know what I'm doing tonight. And the Powerpuff Girls from the 90s and 2000s.
Yes.
Not that one that they did in the
No, no,
mid
no, no,
2000s.
no,
I hated that.
not
Oh no.
not the new, not the reboot that
No.
they did, which they really
Oh
should not
my
have. No, they put
god.
the OG.
Oh, thank you. Like 1998 to 2001. Yes, give me that,
I need
please.
to find where you can watch Powerpuff Girls V so you could watch Powerpuff Girls anime style.
I've seen a little bit of that, and it's an interesting take. I remember watching one episode with a friend, and I said, "Are they getting ready like Sailor Moon?" And I can imagine like you're bleeding to death, and they're doing all the boom, 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 and meanwhile you're just laying on the ground dying as they're just changing into their gear. But I've seen a little bit of it. The Rowdy Rough Boys were my favorite villains. I mean, Motor Jojo is easily number one for me, but I like the Rowdy Rough Boys, and they looked different. They were like lily boys, like the girls were teenagers, and they were like boys or something like that. That threw me off a little bit, but I did watch a little bit of it. I gotta see if where I can find that, and I could give you a review on that, a good review. Did you like that? Did you like that growing up?
I did.
An anime girl, that makes sense. I think for a graphic, I could say this on it. Sonic the Hedgehog is on Tubi. That is exact. I saw oh god, I don't know if it's the Adventures of Sonic X, but I know I saw it one day and I said, I gotta just have a day where I'm just laying in the bed like a lazy sack of crap and just have tacos and watch it. So yes, Sonic the Hedgehog. See, George, you have won me over. Good job, but you're gonna mess up. I know you are. I give you 5 minutes that you're gonna mess up. I give it 5 minutes, you're gonna mess up. But yes, Tubi is fantastic. Said that too. Tubi is great. She said he agrees. I think he said I need to be sure to make sure that we're on the same page. Are you agreeing that Joe Henry deserved to get his ass kicked? Because then we agree. What else do we have here, Sabrina Stone, unless you had some other thoughts you wanted to add?
Speaking of those that are going to get their ass kicked, we have Tony D cutting a promo about defending against all legal Ethan Page. He runs down the list of accolades, including the fact that he was NXT champion after 40 days, became North American champion, and saying that he picked Ethan because he didn't like him, his style, his smile, but also because for 2 years he's been in the forefront of NXT. Tony changed his life for
Mr.
the
P.
title, and tonight he is going to smash Ethan and his ego to keep it.
Damn, it's been 2 years. Like, I didn't realize that much time has flew by. It's crazy. Um, okay, there we go. All right. Oh, said he wanted to say yes, he deserved to get his ass kicked. Good job. Real quick, George, he said, and I just want to say to you, George, I did not like Sonic Underground. I hated that, actually. I was not a fan of that. But the other stuff, I was bored this past Sunday. How did you like that Dynasty? How did you enjoy the show? My only problem with AEW shows is
Is
that
the
they're
fact that
so
they charge too damn much for their pay-per-views and they're too
no.
long.
It's really because they're too long. So they're gonna have a show out here in New York, in May, and it's not too far from me. It's in Queens, and part of me want to go because, like, oh, it's an AEW show, wrestling in New York. I love wrestling. I don't care what brand it is. I love wrestling. But I don't want to be held hostage to 1 a.m. I like my sleep, even though I'm very terrible at that. But I like to get some sleep. I don't like to be held hostage to 1, 2 in the morning, and whatnot. I'm just not a fan of that. But how did you enjoy the show? I'm just interested in what your thoughts was on the show. But what else do we have here in One Sabrina style?
Well, after that, we had Lola and Stephanie catching up. They
Oh,
were speaking in Spanish for a bit, saying how much they missed each other, congratulating. Well, Stephanie congratulated Lola. Lola said that the belt looks good on her and to make sure that she beats Liv at WrestleMania, wishing her luck at her first WrestleMania. They bump hips instead of high-fiving or anything like that.
you said they bumped heads.
They bumped hips.
Oh, bumped hips. Oh, okay. 'Cause I was gonna say, I don't think Stephanie should be bumping heads with anyone after what she did to. Not that she headbutted Liv, but I mean, Liv and did you see that? Not even Gusher, but that
Who
goose.
said
Oh
it
yeah,
shrunk
yeah.
down since last week, since Stephanie attacked her, so.
Oh, I did. I didn't watch. I missed Raw. I saw like pictures and I saw pictures of it, but I didn't realize that it went down a little bit. But that
Oh
was a.
no, it went down for sure because it was like bloop, and now it's like
It was really out there, right?
I mean it was hidden well enough for them pictures of Liv Morgan that came out today for Paper Magazine, so
Oh, because I realized we could do polls, but we're gonna put this up here. We have a poll. I don't know if you guys could click it, but we wanted to try something new here. So probably should start this off on the
well
show.
it
But
says that it says how would you rate tonight's NXT and to type 1, 2, or 3 in the chat.
hopefully you guys can see it. 1 means great, 2 means decent, and 3 means not
3
good.
means
We want to
no bueno.
no brainer. So like we want to utilize and do something different here. So and maybe we can make this a thing and maybe add different kind of polls on the show if you guys are
Yeah,
interested in it.
throughout that'd be fun. Get
Yeah,
some
we could
input
do
from
that. Maybe we
people.
could do stuff like, hey, do you hate Captain Planet? Yes, hell yes, and completely yes, because he's a jerk. We'll get that
I need to
going.
find that clip of you going off on the
Oh,
executive consultant
I,
about
I,
that.
I had someone at my job, and I said I hate Captain Planet, and they said why? I said because he's well, I can't say because he's blue. My favorite video game character is blue, but I said he's wearing a thong, a speedo. That wasn't cool. I'm just saying. But George
But
acts
like
that. Oh, go ahead,
like
please. I'm
wasn't the
sorry.
show made in the 80s or something?
No, 90s. It was early 90s.
Yeah, no, that wearing that around that time was normal for men somewhat, like going to the beach or whatever. But did we see Liv Morgan's music video? They played it during Raw last week, this
What'd you
past
think about
Monday.
it?
So yes, it felt like if she were like a new pop star saying like, "Oh, I want to redo Christina Aguilera's dirty music video, but make it somewhat now and have it take place in Vegas."
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw oh god, I seen a little bit of it, but it didn't catch my attention. Matter of fact, someone said this and it was amazing. So I used to watch music videos years ago, and someone said, "I'm surprised that that's still a thing." And I'm like, "Hey, you know what? That's a damn good point. I'm surprised that's a thing because I didn't even think they still did that." Do they still do those? I don't know. I gotta ask the youth there about that. Said Omega took a tombstone power driver through a table, which was dumb and added nothing to the match. AEW time don't care about their necks. They do a lot of. I mean, the thing about AEW that they're just a different product. They do these things that's different. Sometimes I go like, especially with Darby Allin matches. I still cringe when I watch where who was it, Pac, who hit him with a belly to belly to the steel steps. I said, ooh, that don't look good. But it's a different company. I don't know what to say. What else we got here? Oh, unless you have any thoughts about because I didn't watch Dynasty. Did you see it?
No, I have went to a wrestling show that night, so I didn't watch.
All right.
That was
But
more
it,
of a fun time.
but said it was a good wrestling pay per view. Glad to hear it. It's good.
I mean, my only other option to watch it because I won't want to pay like 30 to 50 bucks for one pay-per-view would be
Mhm.
to watch it on one of those websites where it's suspicious, but it's streaming, but it takes forever because everybody's watching it on there because they don't want to pay. And I'm not going to a Dave and Buster's just to try to watch.
Not a fan. Oh, hi, babe. I mean, hi, babe. I don't like Sonic Underground.
Hello, Mrs. Grand Slam Pooba.
That's Lady Pooba. Glad to see you in the chat, Lady Pooba. And by the way, your son has been acting up and he misses you. But
Oh,
he's actually being very tamed now. I think he knew I was going to be on the show. Oh, he knew I was talking about him. Now he left the room. That is fantastic. I'll get to you later, son. But what else do we got here? But hi, babe.
well, we had the debut of WWE's Evolve's very own Callie Armstrong
Mm-hmm.
going up against somebody named Skylar Ray, who I'm assuming either is someone that was in the back in NXT or there might be another Evolve star. I haven't been keeping up with Evolve, so I
Yeah, it was a
do
joke. It
not
was
know.
yours. Mm-hmm.
But it started with her offering a handshake, and Callie says like nope, and just like flexes her muscles. Well, I actually do not have any, so there's no muscle for me to flex. But Callie just slammed that girl onto the mat, picked her up, slammed her down a couple times, just was beating the living hell out of this girl, basically. It was a squash in and of itself for the most part, but it showed that Callie's got power because she hit her with the Callie connection.
I like that name. I didn't even know what the name of the move was. Callie's a star, man. She's a star. She has the look. She has the in ring stuff. Um, I'm not. I guess I gotta see a little bit. She looked like she has a lot of personality. I just gotta see a little bit more. I'm just not super familiar with her. I've seen
Well, apparently we can on LFG.
she was on LFG. Okay, there we go. Um, but she's a star. I mean, this match was really about her, and she's going to be a player on the NXT women's division. She has it. She definitely has it. I see that said is doing a comparison of oh no, he
No,
wasn't comparing. No, I'm sorry. But
no, no, no,
I
no.
don't think
I wouldn't say that she
yeah.
is Bianca Light. No.
Nah, I wouldn't say that either. I wanted to make sure I read that right. But like she's definitely her own person. She
Yes.
definitely just gives a totally different vibe. I see the comparison, but she's her own person. And I can't wait for her to flush it out even more. Because even now, I saw someone in the chat and they were saying Keanu is baby Ober. And I just assume because he's black and he has locks. And I'm like, this he has such a different vibe from Ober. And I just think that as sometimes when I hear that comparison, when I hear people compare like that, I'm like, why? And the only thing they can say, because it's not the personality, it's just black and locks. And even here, it's a black woman, and she's an athlete like Bianca, and I just don't see them being the same person. So I once again look forward to seeing what she does. She did come out. I mean, we'll talk about it in the main event, but um, she she's already sitting here saying she wants the title. So she's going to be a player, and I look forward for that. Look forward to that.
So, anyways, we had the Frat Pack, aka Vanity Project, and Mariah May Monroe, along with her not real title belts, in Robert Stone's office. And he tells her that you have earned a title match, and Tatum has agreed to it. But she is insisting on a stipulation being added. And she starts crying for not getting what she wants, like she always does now. And Jackson tells Robert Stone off, And Brad Baylor takes a different approach and gives her a pep talk about how she's the glamour and how bad can one little stipulation be. And she seems to accept it, and they all walk away. And I'm just like, you do realize who you're going up against, right? The girl you're going against is batshit crazy. Crazier than you.
She really is really
That's a
bad.
horrible life in and
Yeah,
of itself.
it's a real.
You want a stipulation, you pick it, not her.
Oh yeah, no, I would never agree to anything. This is the same woman who came to the ring with a chainsaw. I don't think I went. I don't trust her thought process when it comes to anything like that. And I think what it is with Blake Monroe because she's I don't know if it's batshit crazy, but she's pretty crazy too. Like one moment she's the glamour and stuff, and then when she lets out like that hellish diva version of her, however you want to word it, she's a different person. So yeah, I agree. I would never agree to anything with Tatum. But I thought it was funny. I forgot which one of the Vanity Project dudes were saying. Cause I got to get familiar with them in the names. I know one is Jackson Drake, and the other two I'm not super. The names it escaped me. But when they went to Robert Stone and said, "See, you made her cry," and then you see what is it? Robert Stone's like, yeah, get out of here. So he's almost like a father, the way he said it, like a disappointed father. So I just thought that was funny.
Anyway, after that, what we had going on next was All Ego Ethan Page goes to make his entrance into the ring. And we also get some hype for the new HBK documentary, which is going to talk about his work in NXT as well. And we have the championship match versus with Ethan Page versus Tony D. And Ethan throws the first punch. However, Tony D
All
ducks
right.
and brawls him into the corner, smashes his face into the turnbuckles, corner to corner, going for the suplex, but Ethan lands it. Ricky Saints comes in to try to help ringside, but he gets tripped and pulled under that ring. And
Yeah,
as they keep going, at some point we see Shiloh Hill calling Ricky out under the ring so that Tony D doesn't have to worry about his ass. And a la chokeslam, Tony D is still the NXT champion.
this was fine. I'm not crazy about it, but it was a solid match. I mean, and shout out to Tony D, who just transformation for him, where and it was a transformation that he needed to do, right? It was a transformation, that, especially if he wants to be called to the main roster. And you look at the gimmick that he had, the I don't want to say the Godfather, but the mafia kind of gimmick and stuff like that. It wouldn't have had long legs on the main roster. Now, this version of Tony D, I could see being called on the main roster. I can't tell you what his ceiling is, but I it was a change that needed to be done. The match was cool. It was fine. Ethan was never going to win. It would have been hilarious, like and Vic Joseph said it, my arch nemesis, that he doesn't even know we're arch nemesis, but he pointed out that Johnny Gargano was the only person who had one title defense with the NXT Championship, and I couldn't see that being with Tony D on a random episode of NXT. And
Yeah.
granted, anything can happen, but I just didn't see that being the thing. And also, too, we mentioned earlier in the
We don't
show,
need that happening again. I'm always sick and tired of seeing it.
seeing
When
oh
that
what
was brought up, my mind immediately goes back to when Dakota Kai and Raquel Rodriguez, when she was the Raquel Gonzalez, had the
mhm.
tag champions and they lost it to Toxic Attraction 3 days after they won it. And I was just like, what the hell?
I
What was
remember
the
that.
point?
I do remember that they did drop it because I remember they won it, and it was like, oh wow, that seemed like it seemed like that was supposed to be the downfall of, or the slow downfall, if you will, of Toxic Attraction, and they just won it back. I do remember
Yes,
that.
it
They did
made
win it back.
new sense to me. I don't like when companies do that. That's stupid. There's an indie company that I go see, and they had a show a while back. They had a fatal four-way tag match, elimination match. They added a fifth team. It was a team that was together. They split them up, They brought them back together, they win the titles, and then a week later they lose it to the same people they won it from.
I think for me it
I
depends.
don't like when they book like that because I find it so stupid. It's like, what's the point of bringing it back together a team if y'all are just gonna drop the
Just
belts on
drop it.
them a week later?
I think for me it depends on when they have the person defend the title or the people when they defend the title and they drop it immediately. I think it depends on the story that they're telling. But just to
There
do it,
was
just to
no
do it.
story being told there. There was no
What this
story
one?
being told there.
Oh
It
yeah,
was
no,
just a
I
random story. The only
listen. I
story is that the tag team that won it has a stooge, as a lot of us like to say. He's one of the other champions over there, but
mhm.
the people don't like them because they're heels. One of these days, somebody's going to beat that little pain in the ass so that way he can't interfere again.
Real quick before
Love
we
you,
move forward.
Marvin. That's his wrestling name, Marvin Cruz.
Let's get to the chat real quick. I want to say hi. I see you. We got said he said she remind me of Katana Chance. I don't see the apparel, and I assume that he's talking about Kendall Gray. We got Matt. He put one, so he voted. Thank you for voting. We got George. He says Kendall Gray is better than Katana Chance. They're two
Oh
different
damn.
wrestlers. They're two different.
They don't even have like a similar wrestling style. So you can't
No,
really compare.
yeah, I
Katana
wouldn't
was
even.
more like a high flyer type of thing. Kendall Gray is like a lot more like
She's
Olympian
grounded.
kind of style type
Yeah,
wrestler. So you can't
she
really compare the two.
she's a grounded wrestler. Jacy made a joke some time ago saying, "What you're Kurt Angle with a ponytail," which is high praise because Kurt Angle is a freaking machine. So yeah, they're two different individuals. I wouldn't even compare them. Kendall Gray, you said what is the appeal, and it might not be for you, and that's fine because not everything is for everybody. But when I look at Kendall Gray, I do see the talent. I think her
She's
only
a
weak,
creature.
yes, and our only weak point I think is that she's not as charismatic, and I think the pairing of her and Ren has helped her because Ren does bring out character. I feel like she brings that out whoever she works with. Charles Dempsey, Kendall. But Kendall is going to get over because of her in ring stuff, and I'm very sure of that. We got what's that? Magical at the moment.
Marginal.
Oh, marginal. Oh, I promise you guys I know how to read. I just misread that. NXT will be getting turned off early for me if Tony main event every.
You didn't
Oh
say
wow, you
right.
say you don't like Tony without saying you like Tony. Tony's
Say
gonna have
about
it
it for
this
the
month.
people in the back because apparently they didn't hear you.
Yeah, so said you're not a. I feel like we have this conversation, but still, you're not a Tony D'Angelo fan. It sounds like.
Speaking of
Okay.
people who can't hear, we had Ricky saying
Oh
take
my
down Shiloh
God,
Hills
Sabrina
backstage.
Estella, Sabrina,
Wait,
Sabrina.
wait, let me say why I said that. But he's chasing Shiloh Hill down backstage, but he's at a workbench waving power tools around and he has earmuffs on. So he doesn't hear Ricky what he's saying and he thinks Ricky is there to help and Ricky runs away. That's why I said that. I was
You,
not going to say it because of the person who has 10% of hearing left in both of his ears.
I'm not gonna lie. So when you said that, and I realized these were two, I thought at first you were talking about
No,
Miles.
I would never say that about Miles.
We like Miles over here.
Exactly.
He's
And
a
I
good
will
guy.
not be referring to him by the way that Matt likes to refer to him.
Yeah, yeah. I see what he means because he does look like a young Randy, but he is his own man. But I know we're gonna get to
Exactly.
him. Yeah, he's definitely his own.
Yeah, right now. Because after that thing that happened with Ricky and Shiloh, Miles is in the ring. He says, stand and deliver. He pulled the black and gold out of Johnny Gargano and sent him back to SmackDown. And what a feeling. He was ready to go home and celebrate with his favorite dessert. And all y'all know what his favorite dessert is. A little spicy Chilean lollipop. Like some cultures like to have like spicy candy.
Oh, really?
Like you can go to a store that sells like Mexican food and stuff like that mainly, and they might have some here and there, like some tamoy or stuff like that. But anyways,
I feel like don't they have that in like lollipops? 'Cause I feel like I've seen
yes,
that before. Okay.
and lollipops and stuff like that.
It's spicy.
Yes,
Is it good?
I don't know. I don't eat that stuff.
Oh, okay. I was leaning on you to tell me something. You was like,
I don't
"Oh,
really
that
eat spicy.
exists."
I don't really eat spicy candy, so you can't ask me.
Fair enough. Take the floor, madam.
But Dion Lennox hits him from behind with a chair. He heard it and he felt it. All the chatter after the match wasn't about how he beat a legend. It was that Dion might be the next champion. At Stand and Deliver, Dion stole his moments. It's only fair play since they attacked him. None of them are safe. Lights go down. Dark stays in the crowd. Dion says over the past year they put fear in NXT, and over the last couple months, he's been fingertips away from the NXT Championship, but things keep getting in the way. Their slump is over, and their future is on Miles' shoulder, the North American Championship, and he can either accept the future or Miles tells him if he wants a title match, that can be set up for next week. But he's going to pick option C and retain his title. And he knows Theon don't like that. But he can either accept his match or he can have the boys take him out. But if you do that, you might not get your match. He says Dion better make his decision since he is the leader of Dark Stage. And either way, he's ready. And Shaquan gets all upset and he says, there ain't no leader here. And if Miles wants to talk out of his neck, they'll smash him. Nobody care about no title match except for Dion. They bicker. And they ask if that's their future or just Dion's. And he attacks Miles and gets them packing.
This was fine. You know what? When I was watching this, right? Thoughts about this. Um, I liked. So okay, boom. I liked when Miles was like, "Oh, well, you're the leader of Dark State," and it sets off Suge, and Sugar's like, "There ain't no damn leader in here," and he's ready to do things, and you already see the tension with Dark State. You see them getting ready to, um, they're building to a breakup between these guys, and
Well,
who's
it's
gonna.
turning into soon it will no longer be a faction of four, but a trio of Trace or three.
I'm sorry. Seth is kind of a funny dude though, because he be cracking me up. I still said, sometimes I still laugh when you say fit Finley wasn't fit, because he really wasn't like fat or anything, but you make it seem like he was just not in shape. But this is hilarious. Otis, is it? Or I'm sorry, it's not Otis. How do you say this gentleman's name?
Osiris.
Oh, Cyrus. I apologize. So Cyrus and Color must can't talk. So what you're saying is they're Nico. They just stand there menacingly.
You know what's funny? The one that's the most uh colored and complexion is the one that was complaining that they have no damn leader.
There was no damn leader, and I see Dion being kicked out. Like, even though, like you meant, Osiris and Cutler, they're not talking right now. They're standing back, but when it comes down, they're gonna kick Dion out. And I see Dion being, I see them putting a lot of focus on Dion, and I like that. There's something special about Dion. Um,
They had some attention on him before they put him
they
in Dark
have.
State. So
They
it's just a very
did.
brief thing.
It was brief though, right? Because he
Very
had the thing where he can read big words and he wore glasses and stuff. But now they're really putting a lot of stuff in, a lot of stock into him, because I think about the what was it called, the Iron Survivor, and he was the only one in the Dark State in there, and he's been getting a lot of singles opportunity. So I definitely can see where something happens where they're going to kick him out, and Dion's going to be a baby face, and I like that for Dion, because, like I said, for a while I was starting to see something in Dion, so I like that for him. Suge, I like Suge because he just talk a lot of shit. Like, I dig that. Like, he talks a lot, and the other two, they
they're
stand
just
there.
there.
They're
They're
just
just
there. I
there.
I love that. Like, they're just background. They're just like, like, I
Like
feel
it
like
says
if
we're NSYNC and they're just the guys in the back. Meanwhile, Dion is Justin Timberlake.
Justin Timberlake, and I want to say JC was getting a little bit of a push there for a bit too, because it was Justin, JC, because no one wanted to be Lance or uh
Chris or
although
Joey.
Chris is the one who sings "My Shiny Teeth in Me." I
Yes,
gotta
he is
say,
the voice of Chip Skylark.
Chip Skywalker. There we go. I think they remade Fairy Odd Parents too, didn't they?
Yes.
Very upsetting. You know
It was
what?
more, you know what's more upsetting?
Tell
The
me.
fact that they made it live action.
Yeah, didn't what was that actor? From Drake
Draco.
and
Those
Josh.
were movies that they did, but they also did a live action series of it too.
I think the missus is slightly behind here, but she was sitting there saying, "Hot amazing, sound amazing." She said, so she seems very amazed at the was it tamales?
No,
What we
this
were
is
talking
what
about?
that's what she was. She
Oh, the
meant to say
tamales.
that instead of Hot Amazes.
Oh, tamales. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Those are the things that look like Mike and Ike's or something like that. Yeah, yeah. Those are pretty good. Those are pretty good. But and said I'm sorry. I want to get back to him too. He said definitely going to be Dion. But yeah, no, I remember they did a remake and that was a movie, right? And he was supposed to be like a grown man or something like that, but he could still. Wasn't the whole thing about Fairy Odd Parents that once they grew up that they couldn't see them anymore or something like that? Or maybe I missed the whole
Once
plot.
they got to a certain age, they wouldn't need them anymore, so they would leave,
Hmm.
and the kids, their memories would be erased, so they wouldn't remember having them.
I remember one episode, and I remember I was like, "What is going on?" It was the one where Poof was being born, and instead of Cosmo, no, Wanda
Instead
being
of Wanda,
pregnant.
it was Cosmo.
And I remember watching and I said, "What is happening
I
here?"
mean, it felt like they took inspiration from seahorses because that's how it works with seahorses.
Oh yeah,
Yes, and the seahorses, the boys are the ones that give birth to the babies, not the girls.
Sabrina Estella. I have to ask, do you watch National Geographic? How do you just know that?
No, I actually, no, funny enough, I remember hearing that from watching a cartoon on Cartoon Network called My Gym Partner's a Monkey.
Oh, I remember that. That was like in the mid 2000s. I do remember that show. I wasn't big on it, but I do remember that show. Matter of fact, they had the cow from Rocko's Modern Life on one of the episodes, and I thought that was amazing. And whatnot. I forgot his name. Heifer was his name. I'm showing my age here.
Yep,
Uh,
that was it.
we got George. He
Yes,
asked
they
question. Yeah,
literally announced it as Demon Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio. On
yeah.
Monday
They.
Night Raw,
Mhm.
Dominic was complaining that he was supposed to be fighting Finn Balor, not the Demon. And Adam Pearce didn't give a damn and told him he had to fight it and to suck it up and be a man about it,
And
even
I'll
though
be
he acted
honest.
like a little boy.
And I'll be honest with you. I felt like they should have just waited. Now, granted, I think a lot of people would have already figured that he was going to be the demon, but I wish they just waited at Mania. I wish they keep some surprises. I think that's a kind of a problem now, and I know it's
Half
hard to
the
keep
time, they don't even
surprises.
care about doing that anymore.
Hmm?
Half the time,
Who?
they don't even care about doing that anymore.
What? Surprises?
Keeping surprises.
I prefer it because I just think like now.
And
Granted,
also, half the time, people
mhm.
fantasy book and put that stuff out there. So, at sometimes that stuff actually happens. So,
Yes,
they don't
Mad
really
Dog.
care anymore. Yes, he did. Three live action Fairly Odd Parents movies.
Three? Get the fuck what is
To
going on?
Wikipedia.
Well, I'm gonna go to Wikipedia. I might stay up tonight and just look this all up because I what? Did you guys see the new Demon? No, I have not. I have not. I
No,
got.
I don't go onto the WWE website like that.
Oh, then Dominic. Well, we
Of
plan on
course,
doing
Dominic's gonna
predictions.
lose. And Finn
He
Balor's never
should.
gonna get a win after so
He
long.
and truth of the matter is he should. And if Finn Balor loses, I think that would be they have no respect for the demon at all. Like, oh shit, it's supposed to be 90 degrees
Listen,
tomorrow. That's great.
for me, they lost respect for me with Finn Balor being the demon when they had him lose to Roman as the demon.
I I'll say and say this: I didn't mind Roman beating him. I just didn't like that the turnbuckle. That was actually a problem. Now, a bigger thing I had a problem was Edge beating the demon at WrestleMania 39. I thought that was ridiculous. I still stand on that. That was a ridiculous move. But let's carry on. Let's keep on trucking through. What else do we got here happening on the NXT show?
Yeah, so I just double checked. It was three of the live action Timmy Turner movie, live action Fairly Odd Parents movies he did. But anyways, we had a quick little video package from Zaria for her perspective of the Last Man Standing match. And we have the newest signee, Dorian Van Dux, the former Mike DiVencio, the European Indies. and he's talking about how he's here to change NXT's definition of destruction, which he's coming in for the WWE Speed Men's Championship Tournament first round match, and I am very upset that they changed his name to EK Prosper,
Hmm.
the artist formerly known as Eli Knight on NXT. I will still refer to him as Eli Knight because this new name is stupid, and I only found that name out after watching the Stand and Deliver pre-show match. The fact that they changed it to that, I'm sorry, but whoever came up with that name was high as hell, and it was not a good idea. But anyways, for this quick little match in 5 minutes thing, it went through. It was a good old back and forth between the two of them. Uh, I didn't mind it, but I am very happy that it resulted in Eli getting a win with 30 seconds left with the diving moonsault.
I'm not big on speed matches. I'm just not a fan of it. I just felt like it doesn't.
I mean, I don't care about street matches too. I was just happy to see Eli Knight back on the
Right.
screen.
No, I just wanted to
I can have a
get my
slight bias. That's
no, but
I need that.
I'm happy that he won too. I was just expressing to the viewers like I've never cared for the speed concept. I do appreciate that they're trying something new. Well, not even new, but they're doing something different. Um, I was impressed by the gentleman. I've never seen his work. I'm not
Dorian Van
familiar.
Dux.
It's gonna take me some time to get his name. Say that one
You
more
can
time
just
for
call
me.
him Dorian.
Zorian.
Dorian.
Dorian. That's a beautiful name, Dorian. But I wasn't familiar with him. He has a great look, but that doesn't really just do anything for me because there's been a lot of wrestlers who have a
There's
great
people
look.
that are wrestlers that have good look, that have
Mhm.
a great look as far as like wrestling wise,
Yep.
and can't wrestle for shit. We saw Jade Cargill on AEW.
There's a few wrestlers I could even go back to. I don't know what he's doing now because I haven't followed him since he left WWE. But I remember in the earlier years, Chris Masters, he had a fantastic look. You look back at him in 2005 for
He
the.
actually
Mhm.
did go down to NWA for a hot minute.
Right. Oh, I heard that he did that, so he's not with NWA anymore.
No.
Okay.
And one that was with NWA and is not anymore showed up to TNA for the first time in 9 years last week.
Yeah, Ethan Page. I mean, Ethan
No,
Carter,
Ethan Carter the
EC3.
third,
Yes.
EC3, is back in TNA.
They they say 3 years, but he was there in 2020. He was there in the pandemic. He was there. I don't know why
Well,
people are saying that. Like he was
well,
there in
apparently
2020.
they forgot.
Yeah, I
Apparently they
see
forgot.
because when they kept saying like, I think I was hearing people. Maybe it's just because the nerd in me goes in like he was just there not that long ago. It was a few years. Don't get me wrong. It was like a good 5 6 years, but he was there. He showed up. I don't know how many matches he had, but he was there. He showed up. He had the whole new gimmick. That's when he was doing the control your narrative thing.
Hmm.
But
I remember
yeah,
that. I told
yeah,
people I knew were part of that.
yeah. I don't
But
think that's a thing anymore. But yeah, the match was
yeah, yeah,
fine,
no,
and
that died a long time ago.
I'm with you on I got to get used to his new name, but
I just say
he's talented.
Eli.
Eli, but
Just say Eli.
he's talented. I think he's somebody else too that I think could be a player on the NXT roster. I think he could be in that, and I don't want them to.
He can be in the North American Championship
Yes. Oh,
title.
100%. No, 100%. I think he definitely has a lot of potential, and I would like to see more of him. But the other guy too, he was pretty good. I don't know what this means if he's going to be back for anything, but he impressed me too. I thought he was very impressive. He actually looked like a super not a super heavyweight. I'm sorry, but he looks like a heavyweight. But he's moving around. I always get impressed with stuff like that. And granted, you see a lot of that in today's wrestling, where a lot of guys who are built like tanks and they're doing moves. I think about I don't know if he's hurt still, but Brian Cage. I remember a time where he was doing a lot of moves that were just ridiculous for his size, but nonetheless, still it was amazing. So the match was fine. Like I said, speed matches don't do much for me, but I do like the result here.
So, anyways, we get Robert Stone berating Keanu Carver for destroying Joe Hendry's concert and pushing him through the barricade. And he mentions next week, and Keanu says next week is going to be Joe Hendry's funeral.
It is. It is. First off, we got good Chris in the chat. Hi. He says, hi, beautiful Sabrina, Estella, and handsome bad guy Jack. I don't go by that name anymore. I am the guy formerly known as Bad Guy, but now I am the Great Grand Slam Pooba. But thank you. We got George who says EC3 back
Yep.
on TNA Impact. He signed with TNA? Like, is that like a thing? He's back.
If
Like,
he is, he is. If it was a one-off, I don't know all the details.
I gotta look into that. But good for him finding a place for work. So good for him. What was he saying? Keanu. Yeah, Keanu's gonna beat this man up. Like he's going to
Yep.
beat this man. He's going to kick his ass. He's going to. He's gonna.
He's going to destroy Joe Hendry so hard that Joe Hendry will be having a funeral and will still find a way to be the
Do you
entertainment
remember
at
that?
his own funeral.
You remember that episode of SpongeBob when he was trying to get into the bloody spittoon or something?
The
The
salty
salty
spittoon.
spittoon! And Patrick had to help him get in there, and Patrick beat the shit out of his own self. And there's this part where he said, wait, no. And then he turns around and he gives himself a wedgie and then get kicked. That's Joe Henry. Someone's gonna have Joe Henry like this and then kick him to the main roster. And that man's gonna be Keanu Carver. I look forward to seeing this. I smell destruction, and I just and look, I have nothing against Joe Henry, but I'm a Keanu Carver guy. I mean, what is saying? I ain't going back, Carver. That's the. I don't know who came up with that goddamn name, but it's hilarious. But yeah, Keanu,
I would have said I ain't going nowhere, Carver.
I ain't
But
going nowhere,
anyways,
Carver. Yeah, but yeah, Joe Henry, he took that little bit of blood. He took that little bit of blood. Keanu's gonna bloody him up even more. Say his name and he disappears. That's what's gonna happen. Oh no. Carry on.
but we had a quick little video package for Kendall. We get Robert Stone. He finds Tatum. He was like, I know you wanted to talk to me, but I thought you meant my office. What are you doing up here? She's like, this is where I like to think. This is where I get my better ideas. But I have my idea for what I want the stipulation of the match to be. And she's going on and on and on about it. And we see Shadow Hill pushing in a casket that he made. And she said, that's what I want to do. We're going to have a casket match next week because I'm going to do what I should have done to Mariah May Monroe as soon as she got into NXT. Bury her alive, so to speak. Second casket match ever, both
there, we,
being done by the same person against somebody else.
there we go. There we go. Good facts. We got Maurice. Thank you for joining us, Maurice. This guy's rude, but I'm always happy to see my brother. What's going on, Maurice? He says, "What's up, Sabrina?" And hey, Jack. I'm assuming I can't really see it because I'm not sure if that's a smile or he's wearing a mask. It looked like a mask because I feel like that was towards
No, it's a
me.
smile.
Oh, it is a
That
smile.
emoji smile. It's a big smile.
Okay. I just wanted to be sure because he was rude to me too when JC lost. He said he wrote me. I love how you guys write me, but don't want. Well, Maurice writes me more than George, but like he only writes me when he wants to really raise the blood pressure up. We got George. He says Josh Briggs and Keanu Carver 1-on-1. I think they already did that. No, I know they had a triple threat, but I feel like they already did that. Tatum Paxley versus Blake Monroe casket match next week. Yep. I mean, it was funny because when it was something that she was saying, it was her words, and she said something over the lines of like something like I want to send her to hell. I said, oh, that sounds like a casket match because I didn't think burial alive, but which would be crazy, right? I don't think not even I don't think we never had a woman unless it's a company that did it and I don't know it, but to my knowledge, they've never done a woman buried alive, but a casket match. Yeah, this is looking like the swan song for Blake Monroe to be called up to the main roster. We got Charmaine. Please tell me Lola Vice.
Well,
Yeah.
we're gonna talk about the main event, so we will let you know if Lola's still
Well,
champion.
and that means you have to stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We'll get there. Apparently, you don't know the results, but we do, and that's why you sign up. You didn't sign up. That's why you watch Unpopular Review. Hey, do us a favor. Hit that like, subscribe, notification, and you'll know when we go live so we could talk about some NXT. And not just NXT. Let me just talk about this brand in general. The Monday Night Raw crew. You got Z the Silent. He's probably the only one up on that show because Wooly was half asleep. I don't know what the hell EC was doing. EC's, he's up there in age. He's trying his best. So let's salute him because I know it's very hard for people over 50 to stay up. and their knees hurt. But shout out to one of the executive consultant. Also shout out to the AEW crew. They're going to be going on live right after Dynamite. We're not done here, but still want to plug shows. And the Friday Night crew, the what do they call it? The SmackDown Smack Talk team with Mad Dog
I don't
Kelly
know.
and Venomous Venny. They have a name. We'll get there. Keanu don't like me. Do you really think Joe Henry's music is that good? Maurice, please. Are you buying a Joe Henry album? I don't think so.
I mean, I don't listen to a lot of the diss songs he's made only because my favorite one is the one he did of Matt Cardona. That will always be my favorite. Where he called him Edge's bitch.
Oh, yeah, he did that in TNA. Right. Okay, I do remember that. Okay. I vaguely remember that. Blake Monroe and Vanity Project are a nice little pepper team.
Preppy faction. It's kind of like when you watch a college movie and you have all the fraternities and then you have like the super preppy one. That's what they remind me of.
There you go. I don't think it's going to be right after WrestleMania, though. I do see her being called up, but not right after
Maybe
WrestleMania. 'Cause
sometime around close
Mhm.
to middle or close to the end of the year.
I would say more in I would say end of summer, fall. I'm gonna go. Yeah, which is pretty much what you were saying. I was just trying to pick a like season, but yeah, like more towards the end, maybe even midsummer. But I'm gonna go late summer, early fall. Whoever goes to the cruise this week, have a safe trip. Thank you. I will be
Well,
leaving.
y'all have fun.
Mhm.
And I will be watching
Yep,
WrestleMania with some friends, so I won't be
love.
alone watching it this time. So I'm happy for that.
There you go. As long as you surround yourself with some good people and you watch some mania, it's always a good time when you're surrounded by fantastic people. We got Mad Dog. He says the SmackDown Showdown. That is the show on Friday. He wanted us to know that. That's why um he wrote that. JC has been in NXT, and so has Tony D'Angelo.
And
Tony,
Tony's still there.
yeah, Tony. I mean, even still, uh, and now I don't know if they've
They
been any
will
discussion with
call,
Tony.
they will get called up when they get called up. When it happens, we do not know.
No, JC would be called up sooner than later. I don't. Here's why I don't think that. I just feel like there's still an arc that she hasn't finished yet with Fatal Influence. Now, granted, you might be right, George. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just disagree. I don't think that. I don't think that because I think there's still a story, and they never finished that story between because they were bickering between her and Fallon. So I feel like they're still going to finish that. But you might be onto something because I
I
thought
mean,
I just real quick, I thought Javon because he had a story and an arc, and they called him up. And even I saw some kind of article where Sean was talking, and he said he had a vision for Javon, and there was a thing, but then they just called him up. So you might be right. She might be called up sooner. I just don't think that. But go ahead, Sabrina. You wanted to say
I was
something,
about
so
to
please.
say, they did that kind of story with her with the previous faction she was in. It wouldn't surprise me if they did it again.
Mm-hmm. I honestly thought they were going to kind of plant the seed. We'll get to that main event. I should just say my thought, but I thought they were kind of going to plant it tonight. I had a vision where I thought something was going to happen and nothing happened. But please, let's keep going on about this NXT. And we just
Speaking
want
of
to thank you
seeds
guys.
being planted, we have Dion Lennox and Shaquan bickering backstage about Dark State's future with Osiris and Cutler looking like decorative hedges on display in a Home Depot somewhere. Dion says they need gold to have a future, so why risk it? And Shaquan just storms off. He's like, I ain't got time for all this. And then we get to the main event. Jacy Jayne, which I point to because of your shirt, versus Lola. I don't have a Lola shirt, but I'm repping our people, mi gente. And it was a very solid match, and I enjoyed every second of it. It reminded me a little bit of Stand and Deliver. I enjoyed it. Unfortunately, they tried to help. Fallon tried to help. Lainey tried to help. JC's on the verge of tears. At some point, Lola got her with a guillotine choke, but gets her feet, and Lola still didn't let go. And rolled her through to the corner. She's still locked on there. JC's back on her feet, rolls through. It has to break. Lainey hits her with the cheap shot, but Lola ducked it and missed. The back fist connects, and it's called the Huracan, which I'm assuming is maybe a callback to either her MMA roots or something in the Cuban culture that I don't know myself. I honestly thought if they were to have given her a name for her breakfast, it would have been like the Havana Hook or something like that, since Havana is the capital of Cuba. And
Oh,
after that,
mhm.
Lola poses with the title. Callie comes down, wipes out all of Fatal Influence like nothing. She gets on the apron, stares Lola down. Kendall's on the other side of the ring. Izzy, Dame, and the calling her up in the rafters. Zarya comes out, Soul blindsides her, and they brawl, and the show ends.
Travesty. That's what I think about this match. Highly upset. Fallon Henley, Lenny Reed gets a pass because she's still new to the faction, but Fallon Henley messed it all up for us. We could have had it all, Fallon. Fatal Influence could have had it all, and she didn't do her job right. Travesty, sickening. JC should have just made history and been a 3-time NXT Women's Champion. But this group just can't get it together. They don't know their roles. They're just. I took a deep breath. I shed a tear, and then I cooked something because I was very hungry and I needed to eat after being drained of tears. But it was a pretty good match. Also, it was a pretty solid match. I like I said earlier in the show, I do like that that audience is giving JC her flowers. I thought last week when she came out and they were booing her heavily like that. I like that. I like that I feel like people know they understand the assignment. So it was good. I do even like the callback on how JC won the match where Lola had the armbar on the rope and Fallon went for that 619. She didn't get all of it. She just didn't get all of it. It just didn't get all of it. But they try to recreate it and just give you that sense of like, oh, she might win it, and she didn't. But it was solid. Good for Lola. Lola now is the main focus in that women's division, and now you have everyone coming out for her. Callie coming out and just Jesus
Callie came
Christ,
out, Kendall came out, Izzy
yeah.
came out with the rest of the calling. Zarya came out and Soul blindsided her, and that
But
show ended with a brawl
right,
all around.
no, but right. I was going to finish with. I just thought it was so funny how she just blasted through Fallon and Laney like that, and just seeing all these women. So it's going to be interesting seeing what this women's division is going to look like now with Lola as the main piece, the center piece of of this division, and see what happens and what's going on here. So real quick, we got some stuff in the chat here. Mad Dog says Julia is dropping her belt to I believe Julia is dropping her belt, but it's not JC. I don't see that being the thing. We got George Fallon Henley and Laney Reed cost JC tonight. Yeah, I'm telling you, they did not know their roles. It's I see why Beyonce left Destiny's Child, which is my point. Oh, I clicked that one. I'm sorry. Oh wait, did I? I'm so sorry. I don't think I did that. Forgive me, guys. My computer is just a little messed up here. But George says Callie, Kendo, Izzy, and Zaria until so. Yes, yes. Thank you. Hey Jack, it's been a little over an hour since Jay. Shut your damn mouth, Maurice. Shut it completely. You don't even have a picture. It's a what is that even called? A clip. You're a fucking paper clip. Don't you talk to me like that. How dare you attack me in my time of mourning? How dare and you? Yeah, I know you're giggling right now, but you have one of those giggles. You probably have a nice cold ginger ale and you're laughing at my pain. I despise you for that. I want you to know. I don't use hate, but I despise you very much here. I hope you stub your toe and a Lego falls on your foot. Rude jerk. JC wasn't winning the NXT. Oh, and now Chris has betrayed me. Good Chris has turned. Hill Chris is in the chat, folks. Everyone say hello to Hill
We already
Chris.
we already have a heel, Chris. His name is the executive consultant
No,
of
no,
the
no,
women's
no,
division.
no, no. He's the first Chris ever born. He's older than time itself. He's he He went to high school with fucking Martin Luther King. Oh, I know. He's just he saw the very first episode of I Love Lucy when it first aired. he just
Did not hear the
he
thing.
just he saw the transition of black and white and color on TV. I'm just the first wrestling match he ever saw was fucking what were they called? Oh my god, in the Bible. What was the name? Cain and Abel. That was the first wrestling match. That was the first wrestling match.
Chris is
I'm
gonna try to beat your ass for this.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Just can you imagine the first fight you ever see is Cain and Abel and you go, oh shit. I'm sorry. Oh, oh god. This is probably the last show you guys ever going to see because I'm probably sure I'm going to be fired by next week. So it was a hell of a run, guys. 6 years with the brand. Mwah! But that's the show. NXT was fun. I'm not ageist, by the way. But that's the show. Let's get here. So Matt asks, so Fatal Influence is breaking up, right? Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, I see it. I definitely see it. It's and they've had a hell of a run. I mean, I look at what's next for Laney though when it breaks up. It's going to be interesting. So you see JC and Fallon, and it's one of those things like, what do you do here? And I would ask you guys, how would you book this? So one of them got to be the face, one of them got to be the heel. And off rip, I was going like, oh, it got to be Fallon the face and JC is the heel. But I don't know the way that crowd was going. I'm like, maybe you could do a swerve and have them kick her out and have her as the baby, and then Laney teams up with her. And because JC, I haven't heard anything about Fallon being called up. Maybe she is. I don't know. And hearing the rumors about JC, that could be her swan song. So I don't know. How would you guys do it? But I do see Fatal Influence being pretty much done. Still love Jacy Jayne. She's great. I'm crying. George is laughing. He does this. And he did that. And George, I love Fallon. Fallon is great. Jacy Jayne should be the face and Fallon is the heel. I feel that way too. I just feel like the way that crowd was going, you could see that they're getting behind JC, and I just think that you could, and also too, JC never really had a babyface run. You could probably talk about the Chase U stuff, but I don't really count that.
That doesn't count as her being a face because she was just acting.
Yeah. JC is a heel only, but I would like to see what she could do as a babyface, though. I think one of the cool things with NXT is what they've done. Like with Roxanne Perez, she was a babyface, and I thought when they turned her heel, I thought that was a silly move. And honestly, I think she does the heel stuff very well. There's a few people. I'm sorry, I just can't think on top of my head, but there's a few people with Cora J. But she feels like she feels natural as a heel. The babyface when I look back, it didn't work. Yeah.
It didn't
work.
work.
It didn't work. I wouldn't even say it didn't work.
But it just felt more natural when she was a heel. People didn't give her credit at first for it, but
I think about Braun too. I think Braun, he had a really good when he was a face, a lot of people wasn't buying into it, but when he was a heel, people was behind it. So I do like that in NXT they do give a chance to you could play around and see, because then you could kind of have a good idea when they do call up some of these people like, maybe we should have you as a heel, maybe we should have you as a face. So we'll have to wait and see, but that's really the show. We got JC would be like turning Gunther to a baby face.
Well, we don't know. Maybe it could work.
I miss Face Fallon, the one who ran Tiffany Stratton out of NXT. It's been a minute since we saw a baby face.
My favorite thing from that.
Oh, you love that. You love that completely.
My favorite thing from that was when she had her working on that farm and Tiffany was just complaining left and right, and she got what she deserved. That was my favorite part.
I would be upset too if I had to put my hand in a cow's ass. I think I'd be very upset. So I mean,
it was the udders, which is where we get the milk from. So,
I understand.
Not on the butt; it is lower.
Oh, thank God, because that's why I stopped drinking. No, I don't drink milk, period. But like, not as much anymore. But like, no, I'm just kidding. But it was a funny segment. It was it's one of those. And this was still the 2.0. I want to say, right? I don't think they dropped that that era yet. Not era, but like that
Someone.
thing. Oh, maybe they did. But that's the show. I guess we do this is the part where we plug stuff. But real quick, we want to say thank you for watching us and taking the time out on your Tuesday night to watch us and just lollygag with us. So we hope that you were thoroughly entertained. So please do us a favor, hit that like, subscribe, and notification, please. That helps us out, but it also helps out the brand because not only do we review NXT earlier in the show, like I mentioned, the Monday Night Raw review crew. You have EC and Z. It's a lot of fucking letters in that show, but EC and Z, and I believe Willie's still part of the show as well. So please check out those gentlemen right after Monday Night Raw go off the air. When NXT go off the air, you got your NXT duo, myself and the sensational Sabrina Estella. Check us out when we NXT go off the air. And on Wednesdays, please check out All Elite Heat Crew. You have Cactus Katie. I don't know if the sheriff is back yet, but you usually could catch her and the sheriff. And lately, I know I've been seeing Venny and Bobby. And Bobby, I hope to work with Bobby. I'm still amazed. I'm like, who's Bobby? But like, yes, please check them out on Wednesdays and on Fridays. Please check out the SmackDown Showdown with Venomous Venny and Mad Dog. I'm so sorry. There's so many names. It's hard to keep up with all that stuff. And we're gonna plug the stuff with the cruise. But Sabrina and Stella, please tell people where they can find you. You do content. I follow it. I make sure to hit that notification. And I know you've been busy the last few days because you've been uploading some content, correct?
Yes. Well, you can go to my YouTube channel, The Unofficial Camera Woman, where I go throughout Central Florida and occasionally South to record wrestling matches and put them up on the air when companies are either okay with it or when they forget that I'm there and I put them up a little bit close to when their next show is at so they can't say shit to me.
I love that.
Some don't
Uh,
like it, but unfortunately, somebody's got to put the product out if y'all won't do it.
there we go. I'm gonna plug these two shows here because on Wednesday, I want to say it's Wednesday at 6 p.m. They are going to be doing a WrestleMania prediction show here on Unpopular View. It's going to be EC and Big Daddy Cool. They are going to give their predictions for both night 1 and 2 for WrestleMania. So please check them out. And on my end, I have a podcast. It's called the Big Pop Theory Podcast. It's audio and YouTube. On the audio, we talk about stuff that happened during the week. And on YouTube, we go and talk about retro stuff. So this month we talked about WrestleMania 18, 13, and 30 on YouTube. So check it out. It was a good time. And also this Thursday at 8:39, we haven't figured out an exact time, but join us on the Big Pop Theory podcast. We will be having our prediction show. We're gonna talk about night 1 and 2 as well. So if you have an opportunity, please just join us and tell us who you think is gonna win. What match are you looking forward to? And it should be a jolly good time. I know a lot of people are not thrilled about WrestleMania and how it was built, the build for it and everything like that. And for myself, I will admit that maybe this is not the best build, but I still get excited about WrestleMania because it is our Super Bowl. And I think that these guys and girls are going to go out there and they're going to kick ass. And if you say, what match are you really looking forward to? The CM Punk and Roman match and Ober and Brock. I think those are going to be fun matches. So, and some of the other ones, I mean, I think by Thursday, I'm like, oh yeah, this match might be cool. So please check all that stuff out. Also, UPRE. I'm working this week. So Tuesday, tomorrow, I'm going to be joining Vic. We're going to be talking about and no, we're going to be talking about Daredevil. Daredevil, I know the episode came out maybe a few hours ago. So we're going to be talking about Daredevil. And on Thursday, before I join the Pop Boys and talk about WrestleMania, we will be talking about Invincible and The Boys. Both really good shows. I started watching The Boys towards the last 2 seasons, so I got a lot catching up to do. But if you like The Boys and Invincible, join us. We're going to talk about the latest episodes. And same thing with Daredevil. So, and do us a favor. If you like some entertainment stuff, hit that like and notification stuff as well for the UPRE side of things. But that is the show. We're going to end it here. We say good night. We're going to show you this graphic one more time. We're ending it. Once again, hit that like, subscribe, and notification. Thank you so much for a fun episode. And we look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. But tomorrow, please join All Elite Heat Crew, and we'll see you guys next week.